So I'm rather hoping this is my EMG pickups. Let's find out. And it is. So the J bass have turned up. I will install them into a bass in a little while. We'll see how we get on. Okay, so it's time to look at this J&D jazz bass. If you can hear in the background, maybe I'll turn up a bit more so you can definitely hear it. So hopefully what you can hear is it's really noisy. I'm under fluorescent lights in my garage. Sometimes turning the thing around will reduce the amount of energy coming in, but there's no shielding in this whatsoever. So what we're going to do, I had some special money that came to me, so I thought let's treat myself to some EMGs. And the theory is these are, I don't want to use the word noiseless, but they should be better. First of all, you shouldn't have to touch the bridge wire, and the bridge connection is a bit iffy on this. It's there, but I mean on my other amp it's not so loud, but I'm going to use my worst case amp as the indication. So what I'm going to do is to take these out, play with them in situ, see if I get the setup right, and then we'll replace the pickups, because they're awful pickups in my opinion. The stock pickups are awful, and we'll see how it goes. So we'll get on with that and see how we get to. So the first thing we have to do is to take the pick guard off. The nice thing about this design is it's got the vintage tuners here, so when we come to undo it, I'll just do it now. You undo it a little bit, so it's a little bit loose. Maybe one more go, and then we ought to be able to just effectively take it off like that, and it's much easier, you see, and when you come to restring it, it's easier. At one point I need a higher mass bridge because it's a bit neck heavy, this thing. And then there's also, if you get the right ones, there's a quick release on the other end, and that's pretty cool because that can allow you to get the strings off much easier. But I'll just pause that and I'll do the strip down. I'm gonna have to unsolder the pickups. You already tell that they're noisy. I've given other videos where they're rubbish. So I'll get to the stage where I've taken all the hardware off, and then we'll start examining the EMG system. So just we've got it on the bench here. I've taken the stock pickups off. I guess they're ceramic, at least they seem to be with the magnet there. You see they've had a number of goes at getting the holes right here, and you know, bless. So I said in the earlier video it was a bit weird. I mean, we just pause this, let's see what's that under the wood. So I'll just use the file to file it. Well, there is some wood underneath there, you can see it just in the center of the picture there, but it stinks of wood filler and whatever. So I didn't expect the body to be that good. I mean, in the hand it feels okay. The paint job is pretty good. I'm not going to complain about that. But let's just desolder these pickups and find out what they were in terms of resistance. But they're just crap, I'm sorry to say. Let's find out. Okay, so we got those out. Red was the neck, yellow was the rear. That seems to be the code in China at least. My meter's not working. Let me just pause a second whilst I see about batteries. Okay, well the battery was dead. That's what happened to these eventually. Let's have a look at this front pickup. See if I can put this in screen. I've taken it out of its holder for the minute. I will put it back in a later date. Can you see that? Just about, I think. So let's look at the front pickup. What was it measured at? .8 odd. Quite hot. And what about the rear pickup? I mean, it would have been nice if they sounded okay, in my opinion. I mean, some people have said on the internet, hey, it sounds okay on my video. It does sound better through the air. 8.56, so 8.56, 7 point whatever. 8.6 at the back. 7.8, 8.6, that's quite high, but personally speaking, I think these are rubbish pickups. I mean, maybe I might try along with the others just to pot them, just for the sheer fun, but I don't think I'll be using them on anything yet. So we got that apart. Let's switch that off this time. I keep forgetting to switch it off. I have to undo these things from the plate. I'm reusing the plates there. I'll get the EMGs out and we'll see how they work, so hang on. Okay, this is a surprising thing. I don't know if you can see that. See if I can see if you can see that. Oh, there, B250K, B250K. I'll take my word for it. Oh, A250K. Yeah. So the tone is audible, audio taper, and the others are linear, which is odd because I like the volumes to be. Well, I like them all to be audio, to be honest, but maybe I'm wrong. When I measure it on the system here, though, 110 coming off to 250K, is that? Yep. And 111 coming off the 250 linear. What's the audio taper like? 220. So the audio taper is good. The other ones, these are just BS here. I mean, I could probably say to them, hey guys, I was expecting a 250B tone and you gave me that. So that's against the trade description in my act. This is not even 10%. So this is why sometimes Chinese stuff is a little bit badly marked, shall we say. But anyway, hopefully that's the last I ever needed that. So let's crack on with the next bit. We'll get the EMGs out now. Okay, so we're going to use Jim's book, Jim's Stinnett. I love this guy's teaching. Nice bass as well. If I was a better bassist and had the money, I would buy some, but I'm sorry I'm not. So I got this set from Amazon in the UK, £112 delivered. I think it should be 2 pickups and the electronics to go with it, as in the volumes, 2 volumes and tone. I don't know this because it's very ambiguous. So there we are, lovely box. Finally, I got my hands on some EMGs. So really nicely packaged in Deutsche, Francais and English. So nice. They've taken the trouble in case you want any language. Any common language at least. Can't get the thing open. There we are. So what's inside? That's reassuring. I'll put this over here in my pile you can't see. Play it, it says. Well, it's asking me to open it. I have no choice, but let's use this. Yeah, I checked. I said 12 thousandths when I read the gauge for the radius. I meant to say 12-inch radius, and 12 thousandths radius would be nothing. It claims to be 14, but oh, I don't know. Maybe I should find my 14 gauge in a minute and check that out. But it really looks like 12. Although there's a what have I got here? 14. It might be 14. I'll check that at another stage. I'll post the details online. It doesn't matter if it's 12 or 14. I've got a sounding block if ever I need it. But I did say I was really impressed with how well that was set up. So what have we got? We've got 2 pickups. These look to be the same size. Oh, we don't want to go next to each other. Don't do that. Oh no, one's slightly bigger. Let's have a quick look and put them into situ. Well, that will obviously fit in there because that's looser than a whatever. That doesn't quite fit in there. Let's try this one. So the first shock news is EMG pickups don't immediately fit into a jazz bass of this description. But to be fair, I have my little tool which I'll get out and I'll just widen the cheeks. I think no, it's not wide enough either. So I've got to widen that out, but okay, that doesn't stop me from doing that. Will it fit through the pick guard? That's an excellent question. It doesn't matter about that one because that one was stuck, wasn't it? It was exposed, so it's this one. Well, that doesn't quite fit through. Let's try that one. So it looks like I got the set which are the same, which is probably really for a Fender, because one of the Fender basses is the same. But most jazz basses, the back neck pickup and the bridge pickup rather is a different size. But that's not a problem. It's a cheap bass. I will solved that problem. I'm going to have to just expand that out a little bit. Not quite sure the best way to do that. A file, I guess. Does it compare to these then? The red was the neck up. Yeah, they're slightly different size, you can see. Oops. Where did that come from? From there. And slightly different. That's very similar. I think it's just a bit wider. Okay, we will cross that bridge when we come to it. So we get 2 of these, and how are they marked? LMGLI, genuine USA apparently, and it's got the little protective cap on it. SJ, LJ, SJ. So I'm gonna have to look up what the difference in the LJ and the SJ is. I hope the instruction might tell us. Let's see what else is in the box. Nice piece of styrofoam. Some instructions. Let's get that out of the way in a second. And this is the J model. J silver. Bridge pickup. Every attempt has been... Oh, this is a 5-string set. Interesting. I wonder if that fit my 5-string bass. Blah 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 blah. I'm looking for something obvious to tell me about the pickup, which one's which. Oh, LJ long housing, SJ short housing. Okay, that's good. So this is the long one, this is the short. Well, I thought the long goes to the back, and that almost fits in, and the short, well, it's academic with the front, and I suppose that makes sense because the strings are slightly more splayed here. So I would have to do a bit of work to expand that, and I think that this is a job for Mr. Dremel tool. The finish is not that important. If you're careful with the sanding drums, they do a reasonable job. You know, just hold them and move them gently. So we'll come back to that. What else do we need? We need cables. So do we get the cables in this thing? Yeah, it looks like we do. Oh, we get screws as well for the pickups. That's nice. I'll leave those in the box. I don't want to lose them. That was it. Okay, so there was just some screws and one side had some, and maybe there's a space if you get more gear from them. What I'll do is I'll put the existing pickups in there for the minute. That's the closest they come to being EMG. I've got a little card, that's nice. How do you open this? Brute force, I think. Yeah, it looks like that. There seems to be a shrink wrap, so let's very carefully get a bit of overkill here. Very carefully get some shears, and let's make a very gentle nick in the corner there. Okay, and then cut along there. We don't want to cut the wires, that would ruin my day. And there we are. So let's put Jim back in the picture. Take those out of there. 1, 2. I think I'm going to try these. Let's do it now. Sorry to be so whatever, but let's do it now. Let's try it with the blue base, because if they fit the SX, then that's another piece of useful information I might be able to pass on to someone. And if they fit the SX, well, maybe that deserves it better. Does look like it might fit that better. It does look like it might fit that. And if that's the case, let me make certain that's the right. Oh, the L, that should be that way around, sorry, shouldn't it? Long and short. it does look like it would look quite nice in there. And I have a feeling that what I'll do is I'll play with these on the bench, see if I get tup noise, and then I might consider sticking it in here, because I think this blue bass is better deserving of it. Although I really like Tony's Ironstone pickups, the passive pickups, they're quite nice. So shock collar, it seems to fit an SX bass. It doesn't seem to fit out of the box one of these basses, but it's only cheap and you can modify this. So I'll pause it and I'll play with the electronics. Okay, so you can see here, hopefully, it's got written on it things like passive, tone, volume, so that's quite neat. Now I need to work out, so tone, volume. I'm very colourblind, by the way. I should get my wife to help me, but that would mean I have to tell her about my guitars, and that could be bad. She knows about this one though. So it says here volume, tone. The battery bus is this thing here. Or is it? Oh, let's find out. Maybe it's not. Oop. Ah! Careful when you take stuff out, it wants to go everywhere. Found it. I think they give me a bit of heat shrink, which is nice, but I've got plenty of that. There's the output jack. A whole load of wires and things, or not wires, washers. I'll put those back there. There's a battery thing. Okay, oh, that must be the battery bus, I guess. No, don't talk to me. That is something. Oh, that's going to go into that red thing, I guess. Let me get that out of the way. I don't know if you can see that. So that's going to go into some red thing up here. I'll put the heat shrink away in the box over here, because although I've got tons, it's always nice to know. Then we've got what? A red, black. This is Man United colour, that's nice. We've got black and white, and that I think is a pickup thing. Put it there. Black and white is another black and white one. That's got like battery stuff in it. That's got to be an output cable over there. What's this one? This has got a funny little, look, bridge pickup, but that's got red. What? But this is odd, because that looks like it's got those bits on it. That's a black and white, that's a black and white. Why have I got a red, black and white? I'm gonna have to pause this and look at this, but okay. So it's gonna be a bit noisy in a minute. I've got I'm gonna use the engraving. I've used the wood, what are they called, the sandpaper ones before, but I'm not certain. So that's so good. So let's just try a little bit of this, and it's just to widen these holes a bit. So it's gonna make a bit of noise, and then I'll start a bit, then I'll switch the camera off, and we'll see. Well, that was even too much for the engraving blade. It broke the bit, yeah. So now I brought out the little baby router. I'll give that a go off camera, because this makes a hell of a noise and I don't want to annoy people, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so after quite a bit of routing, this one we said was way too big anyway, and maybe if they screwed that up, but I guess they didn't because it's visible. A little bit of chip out there, but I mean, I had to really get in, get this thing out here, gouge it in, and you know, get the chisels in there and everything. So again, this is just to test the idea, will it sort of work, what's the sound like. So that's basically it. And so far what I started to do was to work backwards from the diagram. So you see the negative of the battery goes into this bit, so I oriented the output jack like so, and that meant that I had to go in there. Then the common bus is the black one. So one person said it was really hard to push these through because you can't get, I haven't done this one yet, you can't get the cable to go through. This one here, you see that's a bit too thick. Well, you don't need to. You just need to get that end to go through, and here you can fold that back like that, and we'll do it now. So, hang on. Sorry for the unsteady camera work. Here I should be able to push that through like so, and then start to push it, and as it comes through I should be able to carefully pull it out, and that's it, you see. So I've done it. So to me, don't try and push that through the hole, that almost certainly won't fit, but you don't need to push it through the hole, push the other bit through the hole. So I'll get on and do the next bit and we'll see how we wire it up. So when you come to put these in, the diagram shows a picture of a little arrow on top. So basically the cable has got like the metal bit showing up at the top, and the idea is that it's supposed to be like that. So when the metal bit goes in, get my glasses on, the arrow should be on the left hand side, and it is. So when I take this little white bit off, let me get my glasses so you can see. When I take this little white bit off here, the cap, and that slides in like so, oops, yeah, slides in like so, then the arrow is on this side, which is equivalent to like that in the diagram, yeah. So oops, put that back in there, I want to keep that. And the EMG goes at the top, so it goes that way round, and I suppose you sort of pull it underneath itself and try not to snag the cables into the screw holes, otherwise you do damage. So now we've got that bit. It then says this red bit goes on the common bus bar, so that's one of these. In it goes. And so far we've got the battery power, and we're left with the black and the white, the black and the white. And it shows the black and the white going into the neck volume and the bridge volume. And from what I can understand, there is no difference between the two volumes. The tone is the only one that's got, there's a volume. The tone is the only one that's got, there's tone. So where's the other volume gone? I think I've lost it already. Anyway, I'll get on and plug those in, but it just seems that neck volume, so it should have, yeah, and the black and the white goes in, so it's not the first two, it's the second two. So that's this one coming in from there. But is there an arrow to these? Yes, there is. There's an R and an arrow. I'll have to read this. There's a little R and an arrow. Oh, it actually has a picture of the arrow on the top. So it shows the BR upside down and IO ground, IO ground, IO ground. So it makes it seem like it goes in the middle of that one. And then we piggyback out of there. Well, it says E. It both says E, doesn't matter. So we piggyback out of there. It looks like the white needs to be on the left. And that goes into the next volume, which I'll find in a moment. So I'll just pause it and I'll start doing this. Actually, it was just in front of my eyes, but without my glasses on, you can see it difficult. So this is the same way round. Same way round. And it shows the outer one going arrow to the outer. So outer goes to outer, that's volume goes to volume. The inner comes from the bridge. Well, that is the bridge here. There is the bridge going there. So the bridge has to go into there like so with the, oh, got it upside down. The arrow on the top, yes, and then the top cable that goes to the master tone. So that's one of these, like so, and that piggybacks to the master tone, and the master tone is here, and the top one goes to the top half with the arrow on top. And it makes sense because the arrow, actually, the little arrow's on the ground, as it says, which is the black. So let's just check that those are the blacks. Yes, ground. So that makes sense. That's quite a consistent design. And then the second tone is one of these spade connectors, with the arrow going on the right hand side, like so. I don't know if you can see that, but there it goes. And then it shows the black goes to the next one on from where I put the black wire from the battery negative, so like so. And the white is his little friend and goes next to it. So theoretically, unless I really screwed up, that is basically the wiring done. So what I'll do is I'll go and get a cup of tea and reread through it one more time. It's the British way of doing things. Oops, and I've already screwed up by not knowing which one's the master tone. I'll get the master volume. Yeah, look, it's that way around. So that one goes there. That's not very neat. So maybe you've got to splay those cables a little bit. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so that gets me a neck, bridge, tone, volume. So I'll just go and get a cup of tea, come back, and we'll see how it gets on for tone. Okay, so cup of tea had. I got this bit left over, and this seems to be a way of wiring in ordinary pickups. So my guess is that you don't have to use the EMGs directly, their pickups. And there's another wire. I'm not certain why that's there. How straightforward is it? I'll find out when I blow it up. I think it would be handy if they said you just put the... It'd be nice if the pickup itself had a different colour on it, but in effect you orient it so you can see the silver bits of the DuPont connectors, and you make certain that the black wires with the arrow always point at a ground, and then you should be good. So there's a moment of truth where I'll blow it up, yeah? If I do, oh well. This guitar itself was a bit crap, I'm sorry to say. Plug that in. I need a battery, so I'll take the one out of the bottom of here for the second. That's why I didn't wire that back in. That's the way around. Okay, how do I know if it's working? Well, I need something metal. I've got something metal. Switch that on. Ooh, you hear that? By the way, probably not a good idea to use an adjustable spanner on your pickups, but in my garage of tools I have so many tools, and this is the hand. So now, do you notice something? See, I've turned that up full whack, and there is a bit of a hum, but it's nothing compared to what we had earlier with these really, and anybody that knows me know I swear a lot, but those really crap pickups, yeah. So that one's fine. What about this? What happens if I do this? So, whoa. Wow, that's a lot of output. Let's turn all the volumes up. Where's the tone gone? Oh. So a little bit more out. Okay, I think what happened next, you can guess what I'm going to do next. I'm going to wire the strings back in, put these into the plate, see if the battery fits. If not, I've got to route something, but this wood is crap. And I'm looking, this is full up on the amp, not lots of gain, but it's quiet as anything, yeah. So I'm excited by this. Let's get ready to come back. I'll see you in a minute. So just a note whilst I'm here, you get 6 wish my brain works. Sorry, I have a migraine at the minute. It's a very strange weather in Britain. You have 6 nuts, and they have the locking nuts, which is always good because they're mostly missing. And what I'm trying to do is to orientate it in such a way that it sort of sticks away like that. And then you have the top washer, and then the other bolt. And this is really neat. I do like this design. I'm mightily impressed. It was 122 quid. I'm sure if I did a few more of these I'd find it really easy. It wasn't that difficult. I'm just colorblind and old, so you know, that's two things that go against you young people, is that I can't see the diagrams without taking glasses off, and it's a real pain in the whatever. But so we just take our nut, oops, thread it onto the system. That's me touching the battery, by the way. Actually, I say that. Oh, of course, I was going to say I don't think there's enough. For a minute, I was thinking they hadn't given me enough nuts and things, but of course they're already on the output jack. And what I'm trying to do, I don't know if I'm going to get this right, is to put it in such a way, you see I'm trying to orient it on the underside. Don't twist that. So that there might be space for a battery, and if there isn't space for a battery, I'll have to route one. This guitar is so crap. Sorry, the actual wood of the guitar is a bit crappy, but when it's covered in this finish, who cares, right? You're buying it for the colour, at least I am. I'm not a great believer in tone wood, I might be wrong. The neck looks good, and I knew that the pickups would be rubbish, and they were, so we've replaced those. So I'm just trying to make enough space that I can fit the battery in there, but I don't know how that's going to work, so oops, let's find out. Ah, that's a different size. No, that's better. So once that starts to grab there, I can, that's it. So now we've got to undo this, so let's undo that. Off you come. Off you come. Do you see how much difference the noise is with the, stick that in like that, I guess. Washer, nut. Let's just tighten this a little bit. Yep, that's good enough for me at the moment. Will that fit in there? The moment of truth, boys and girls. Is there a way to get that to go in there so I can put it down? There's an awful lot of wire. Yeah, I think that's going to fit, sort of. My screw's gone, so let's get a screw. Hang on. What did I do? I know what I did with the screws. I put them in the battery box. What a good boy was I. So let's take one of the screws at least. Get that in like so. Probably I'll do that up by hand for the minute. Get that screw into there. Alright, get another screw which is also in this box. In you go. Is that right? Yeah, that's going down as far as I can tell. Note that in a little while. Okay, the last one's going in. And the noise, as I said, is just the bare cable picking up the fluorescent and all the noise in my garage. This is why I normally shield guitars, but that's pretty good. That's gone in. Sure, it's a bit of a pain in the arse to change the battery, but hell, let's see what this is like now. That's quiet as anything, and it's not quiet because there's no noise, it's just picking up. Oh, this is quite beautiful. Now that I don't even have to put in because it's so bad, but I will pause now and get on with the next bit and we'll see where we get to. Okay, so the only thing I didn't get with it was anything to put underneath the pickup. Like here we have the foam. But I'm wondering if we could use this stuff that came with the packaging. I mean, it's a bit soft, but maybe. For the minute, I'll just plug it in. I know EMGs are normally like to be closer to the action, but I'll just plug it in and we'll see. Actually, I got a load of springs I got from Tool Tech, and actually some disaster happened the other day. They fell on the floor and the big springs are touching the small strings, and it really hurt my anxiety or my autism. But I've got these, and I'll probably plug these in and we'll use those as spacers. So I've got the springs in. I did the trick where I just feed them in like upside down or right way up, back to the power station, and then flip them upside down. So let's just give this a little bit of a whoops. You're going the right way. It is. Right, I'll leave it like that for a minute because I can adjust that in a little while's time. That'll do. So it's on a very low torque setting, so it should, you know, catch very quickly. I haven't checked if the pots work. Let's find out. Wet. Oh, that's better. So that's off, that's off, that's off. Let's do it so it's pointing up when it's off. Oh, they fit, I think. Sort of. Oh no, they don't. Yeah, they should fit. They should fit. Now I might have to get a different set of, they're not split shaft, they're solid, so I may have to get a different set. I might have some in my electronics box, but for the minute that's the least of my worries. So let's just get 3 more springs in the magic spring set. 1, 2, don't drop them. It's been ages sorting them out, I don't want to do it again. Okay, and so now it's a case of taking this out and getting the longer screws. There we are. Or one. Stick that in there. Stick that in there. Uh-oh, I dropped one already. This garage floor is full of rubbish, and actually it's often easier just to pick up a new spring, which I think is what I'll do, and then find it later. Okay, I'll get the shot now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get the spring so it's the other side of, so the wire goes down the middle of it, and then just drop it in like so, encourage it a bit, and that's it, mount it. So let's give this a bit of encouragement now. One thing I didn't do, which is stupid, I didn't check whether that fits into the pickguard hole. We'll find out and then I'll go, oh rats, but that'll do for the minute. This is where I find out that the pickguard doesn't fit where I've oriented it, and I get the cry a bit. Oh, Come back. That's close enough for me, but that does need opening up. I think I said that earlier, it needs opening up a little bit, so I'll just do that off camera and we'll take it from there. Okay, so one of these was quite good. It turns out that the thickness is just about up to about there, so you just basically use the curved bit to open up the edges a little bit, file down, and it doesn't take much because it's only plastic, and then off it comes, and that seems to be working, at least as far as I can tell, so it's all good stuff.